Hi everyone, welcome to the Essex Sport Facebook page. My name's Arlene. I'm going to run a yoga session today, about 30 minutes. If you want to just make sure you've got plenty of space to move your body around freely, and just check that your floor isn't too slippery, and it's quite nice to have a yoga mat nearby. You might grab some water in case you'd like some during the session. And I'd like to encourage you just to work at the pace, at the movements that feel comfortable for your body today. All right, great. So if you want to start by laying back on your mat and just coming to a comfortable position. Good. And as you come to lay on your mat, just check in. You might like to have your knees bent, you might like to have your legs straight, and just notice where your arms would like to be. So just take a moment or two to settle into the mat and just scan your body. So how do you feel today? Just notice, scanning upwards from the soles of your feet and your toes. Just notice your ankles, shins, knees. Notice your thighs. Just observe if you feel any tension in that lower part of your body. Do you feel differences on the right side to the left? Just notice. And then scan upwards. Notice your fingers, the palms of your hands, your wrists, shoulders, elbows, forearms. How do your arms feel today? Do you feel tension at all in your arms? And can you start to relax your fingers and your hands, your arms and shoulders? And then scan upwards. Notice your back, the resting points, any parts you touch the ground, your shoulders. And how does the breath feel in your body today, in your belly, your chest? How does your neck feel? Do you feel any tension at all in your jaw, your cheeks, your eyes? Do they feel active? Just observe the upper part of your body and just notice how you feel today in this moment. We'll come to notice our breath. So as you inhale, notice when you breathe in the parts of your body that move, and if your breath feels relaxed, without effort. And when you exhale, notice the same parts. Perhaps you could feel a little movement of your skin as you breathe inwards and outwards. Good. And if it's comfortable, we'll start to let your breath feel a little bit longer and slower in your body. And you can start to imagine that when you breathe, you expand a little bit. Not only to that space above you and to the sides, but also to that space behind you. So when you breathe, you kind of expand the back of your head, your shoulders, your legs, and your arms, your feet. So just take another round of breath here. Just letting your breath relax to the space surrounding you, behind you, the sides, above you. Good. And then when you're ready, you can just very slowly start to reawaken your body. You might wiggle your fingers and toes or turn your head side to side. And then just very slowly start to bend your knees and place one foot on the floor, then the other, and just turn your head a little bit side to side and just check in with how that feels. So your head's relaxed on the ground, so it's almost like your head's like a little rolling pin or a can. You're just slowly rolling against the floor. Good. And then if you lift your feet off the floor, keeping your knees bent, and we're just going to start to feel our knees as a hinge joint. And you can start to kind of, lift your feet up and down just in a relaxed way. So stay with that. If that's comfortable, you can just do it quite slowly, or you might have a larger range behind your lower back. So if you feel any tension, you can adjust how close your feet or your knees are towards your chest. Okay, so just continuing that movement. If it's comfortable, start to reach your fingers up towards the ceiling so your arms are long, and relax your shoulders into the mat. And if it's comfortable, you can make a fist with one hand, wrap the other fingers around it. Just checking with how that feels. And then we're going to slowly start to bend our elbows and bring our arms, either our hands towards our forehead or the top of our head, or you might rest them on the ground behind you. And just checking where is it comfortable to leave your arms. So you might transition your arms to rest on the space behind you. You could do that with bending your elbows if that's more comfortable for your shoulders, and just checking with how that feels. Okay, great. So you gently come to a stillness with the little hinging of your knees, and then flex the balls of your feet and slowly bring just the balls of your feet to the floor so your heels stay lifted. And just notice how that might feel on your lower back. Maybe that creates a bit of space there. You can keep your arms overhead if that's comfortable. And just notice the resting points of the balls of your feet, any parts of your lower back or hips, your shoulders, arms, the back of your head. Good, lovely. And just very slowly start to lower your heels to the floor. Good, and it'll bring our right thigh towards our stomach. So your right left foot lifts off the floor, draw your thigh towards your stomach, stay there. And just checking in again. Does it feel like you're kind of lifting up towards the ceiling, or can you relax and breathe into that space behind you? Good, lovely. Then if you just start to circle your ankle 3 times in one direction on your right leg, right foot, and then the other direction 3 times. Good. Then we're going to open our right knee out to the side. So you're rotating from your thigh, and just rest your right ankle on your left thigh. Check in with how that feels. Does it feel uneven? Can you make little adjustments to the placement of your hips to feel comfortable? So maybe this is where you'd like to stay for a few breaths. If you want to make it a bit deeper, you can lift your left heel off the floor. Maybe stay there. If you want more, you can lift your left foot off the ground, and you can support behind your left thigh with both hands, so your hands kind of come into that space. If you want more, maybe straighten your left leg. Check in. You can add a little circling of your ankle here on your left side, or pointing and flexing as an option. And if you want more from there, you can lift your chest up towards your legs. So just come to a moment. Notice how that feels. Make adjustments to any of the options at any time, and just avoiding any tension in the back of your neck or the front of your throat. Good. And just think about lifting evenly. So just observe how that feels, and where does that create release? Perhaps through your lower back, the outside edge of your hip, your bottom. Good. And then when you're ready, just very slowly start to lower down again. So we'll bring both feet to the floor with your knees bent. And just take a moment. Scan the right side of your body. Scan the left side of your body. Do you feel differences? Maybe you're lower on one side than the other. Great. So we'll do the same on the other side. So start by bringing your left thigh towards your chest. Hold behind your thigh or your shin. Draw that thigh towards your stomach, and you can circle your left ankle 3 times in one direction and 3 times in the other direction. Notice how that feels. Good. So after the circling, we'll bring our left knee out to the side, rotating from your thigh to rest your ankle on your right thigh. And just check in again, make any shifts so you feel even in your body, and check in. Same options here on this side. Do you want to stay here? Maybe lift your right heel, lift your right foot, support behind your thigh is an option. You can also straighten your leg. Just check in if you'd like to stay there. Option to point and flex or rotate your ankle in either direction. And maybe you want to come into that a bit deeper by lifting your chest towards your legs, and just see how that feels. So does it feel even? You can make little adjustments so it feels comfortable with your touching points on the back, on the ground. Good. Another round of breath here. Lovely. And then when you're ready, very slowly relax down. You bring your feet to the floor, and just check in again and notice, how do you feel in relation to the ground? What is the connection with the floor, the space between your lower back feel like? Good. And then we'll bring our knees to our chest, hold your shins, and just find a rocking motion here that feels comfortable. So you might very slowly start to draw circles on the ceiling with your knees in either direction, or maybe you kind of flex your feet and do a little happy baby pose with the soles of your feet to the floor and your knees bent, and you can rock side to side. Or you might even make little motions here, circling your feet on the ceiling, like you're drawing shapes there. Good. Or you can even straighten one leg out to the side. So just find a little rocking that feels comfortable for your body. And that might even be with your knees to your chest and kind of rocking forwards and backwards. Good. And then when you're ready, we'll come to a stillness with the rocking, and we'll either roll to one side and push yourself up, or you can rock up from here, and we'll come to all fours on hands and knees. Good. So as you come to all fours, just check in with the width of your knees. So your knees are about the width of your hips if that's comfortable, and you can have your knees directly under your hip space. Good. Then walk your hands a little bit more forward to the front of your mat. And then from here on the ground, walk your hands over to the right side. So it might be at a slight angle, maybe 30 degrees, 45 degrees. Just do that as much as feels comfortable. And then very slowly start to bring your bottom towards your heels. So just do that slowly at your own pace. You can check in with how close you'd like your chin towards your chest. Maybe if you have any pillows, you could rest your bottom on them, or your forehead. You can even come all the way towards the floor with your forehead if that's comfortable. You can even use the support of your right fist if that feels better today. So just checking with how that feels. Be kind to your shoulders so you can widen the space between your hands if you feel any tension arising there. Or you can even make the connection or the release on your left side a bit deeper by reaching your left hand further away from your body. Good. So just notice, let your breath feel relaxed, and almost that sense again of breathing into your back space, that space behind you. Good. And then we'll gently start to come up, so lift your bottom away from your heels, and then just walk through center and do the other side. So when you're ready, slowly walk your hands over to the left. Again, just notice the range. It can be deeper or less, and slowly start to bring your bottom to your heels. Check in with how close you like your chin to your chest, any support for your forehead here. And again, adjust to feel comfortable. How much space do you like between your hands? Do you like that sense of reaching your right arm slightly further away? Good. So one more round of breath here. Lovely. Then when you're ready, we'll slowly uncurl. Good. Then walk your hands back through center. And then this time we'll come to extended child's pose. Slowly bring your bottom to your heels. You can bring your forearms down, support for your head. You can use your fists or pillows if you've got them, or rolled up towel. And just check in if it's comfortable to rest your forehead on the ground. If it is, you might stay here with your arms. Another option to bring your arms a bit out to the side in a T. See if that's preferable for your shoulders. Or you can start to bring your arms behind you so you're resting the backs of your hands on your lower back or your hips. If that's comfortable, stay. You can even interlace your fingers or start to lengthen your knuckles away from you. So just do that slowly so there's no tension or in your shoulders. Good, so just notice where you'd like to stay for that posture. Good, one more breath here. So you can slowly start to undo your arms if you have them out behind you, and place your hands on the ground either side of your head, and gently start to push up again through all fours on hands and knees. Good. We'll just do 2 rounds of cat and cow. So as you inhale, just soften your stomach towards the mat. You can feel your tailbone tip up and look up with your head. And as you exhale, round your spine to the ceiling. And you might start to look down at your knees. Notice your shoulder blades start to open. And just do another round of cat and cow at your own pace. Feel that connection of your spine with your breath, perhaps. Lovely. Then we'll come back to a neutral spine and just set up for downward facing dog. So before we come to the downward facing dog, if you tuck your toes and bring your bottom to your heels, so you can feel that, perhaps open the joints of your feet, and then walk your hands a little bit closer to your knees. And then we'll do little 3 rounds of lifting your knees off the floor and then lowering down. And just do that at your own range. You can even bring your hands closer to your knees if that feels more comfortable to do that little rocking. And maybe that starts to open up that space behind your ankles or your calf muscles. Okay, lovely. So after your 3rd round, you can set up again your hands a bit more forward, about 4s. And then as you exhale, think about bottom to your heels first, then lift your tailbone up to downward facing dog, and just make this your own. So maybe you like to hold in stillness, check in, prioritizing having a nice long spine so you can bend your knees to find that length, like your sitting bones almost try to lengthen to the wall behind you. You might bring movement to this by bending one knee at a time. You can turn your head a little bit side to side. So another option here is to lift one foot off the floor. For example, I lift my right knee off the floor and then just start to make little circles with your knee. So you can go in either direction. So you're really feeling your thigh rotate in the hip socket. And you can make that larger too by extending your leg behind you and then bringing your knee out to the side. Just see how that feels. And if you take that as an option, you can switch and do the other side. So if that feels intense to do in downward facing dog, you might do that from all 4s. So just see how that feels for your body. Good, so just a little circling as an option. Make it your own. If you feel like your body would like a little rest, you can come back to child's pose or extended child's pose, which is a nice way to lengthen our spine as well. Good. And then when you're ready, just doing your legs evenly, we'll come back to down dog or extended child's pose, see which one you prefer. And just check in for a moment. How does it feel in your body? Perhaps your heels are just softening in the direction of the floor, but not as a destination. Good. And when you're ready, we'll come to forward fold. So walk your hands to feet or feet to hands. And just stay in a forward folded position for a few breaths. So you might have your knees bent and you option to rest your forearms on your thighs. Check in with how your neck feels. You're welcome to come a little bit deeper into that by lengthening the back of your legs. That space behind you. You might rest your hands anywhere on your legs or towards the floor. See where it's comfortable. Good. So just check in with how that feels. Is the weight more in one foot than the other? Good. And then from your forward folded position, if you start to bring your arms behind you again, so similar to that child's pose we were practicing, you can bend your elbows, rest your hands on your lower back. Maybe interlace your fingers. Just see how that feels in your chest, but be kind to your shoulders. So we're not bringing tension, just move slowly so you can ease the movements, your body into the movements. Good. So we'll keep our arms as they are if that's comfortable, but you're welcome to bend your elbows or place them on your hips. And just reverse to a chair pose. So lead with your tailbone, long neck and spine, hinge back. So your bottom's at that diagonal towards the floor. We'll bring our arms up overhead, push their feet to hinge up. Option here to take a little upper back bend. So wait till your heels hips forward, almost like you're trying to touch the ceiling. And you can feel your rib cage start to lift upwards away from your hips. Good, so one more breath here. Lovely. And as you exhale, let your arms open out to the side and you can give everything a little shake. Okay, so we're going to come to stand with our feet just a comfortable distance apart, and just take a few moments to rotate side to side so you can have your arms just kind of loose and you can feel that rotation perhaps through your waist, side to side, and you can even turn your head behind you, so it's a little rotation. And for example, when you rotate to the right, you might lift your left heel off the floor, so that adds a little rotation through your feet. You can even do that with a little bend in your knees, side to side. Good. Just a nice way to undo any tension from the spine. Great. Okay. So we'll come back to the center. And if you stand with your feet just a comfortable distance apart, they might be slightly wider than hip distance apart. You can turn your toes a little bit out to the side so they're on a like a V shape or diagonal. Okay. So we're going to do a balance in a few moments. So you're welcome to come off of your mat or stand near a wall or have a chair nearby to rest your arms on if that's more comfortable. Okay. But we'll start with a breath movement with our arms. So if you placed your palms of your hands near your thighs, and just check in, is the weight evenly throughout your feet? Does it feel more towards your toes or your heels? So just make those little minor adjustments. Notice your shoulders over your hips, and like your head is just resting atop your spine. Good, so with those palms facing inward, start to rotate through your shoulders to turn your palms away from your body as much as feels comfortable, and lift your arms up. Come through that T position. Continue your inhalation just at your own pace till your palms touch. And then when you're ready to exhale, slowly bring your hands in front of your heart space by bending your elbows. So just do that at your own pace, but we'll start by lengthening our fingers towards the floor. So your palms start near your thighs. As you inhale, rotate through your arms to turn your palms away from your body, arms overhead. And you might almost feel a little pause here, like your fingers are kind of lengthening up and your sides grow. And then as you exhale, lower your arms down. Good, so do another round again. So rotate through your shoulders. Inhale as your palms come up, almost like the top of your head lengthens towards your hands as well, and exhale down. Okay, so in the next round we're going to add a little balance option. So start the same, arms exactly the same, palms turn away from you. Inhale here. As you start to lift your arms, you can start to lift your heels off the floor for a little balance. And again, you might have that little pause between your breath, between your inhalation and the exhalation, before lowering your arms. And here you can start to lower your heels to the floor. Okay, so we'll do 2 more rounds at your own pace. So palms near your thighs, inhale, rotating, slow lifting up. Almost like there's such lightness in your fingertips and your heels. Maybe there's a little pause as you exhale and lower your arms in front of your chest and lower your heels. Again, just do that at your own pace with your breath. We'll do 1 more round, rotating, palms away. Inhale, lifting up through that T position. Your arms come overhead, and as you exhale, lowering down. Good, really nice. Okay, great. And then we'll step our feet together. You can give everything a little shake. Okay, so we'll do another balance. So just check in with where you'd like to stand. Good. Okay, so we'll start in a mountain pose. Think about keeping your hips level. Shift the weight over to your to one leg. Maybe it's your right leg. Bend your left knee. Turn it out to the side. Bring the bottom of your foot inside your ankle, and you can bring your hands in front of your heart. So just check in how that feels. So if it's comfortable, you can start to bring your left ankle in front of your straight right leg. An option to stay here. If you want more, you can slide your ankle higher up so it's in front on your shin, below your knee, or maybe you bring it up higher
to your thigh, just not on the knee joint itself. You can even bring it higher up so it's up close towards your groin without bringing any torque or discomfort, rotation, uncomfortable rotation to your knee. So just see wherever that's comfortable for you, and option to bring your arms up or out to the side in a V. Okay, so nice little rotation here through your thigh. Good, lovely. And then when you're ready, very slowly relax down at your own pace, no rush. You can bring your knee forward. And when you're out of the posture, perhaps give everything a little shake. Okay, so back to your mountain pose. Just notice for a moment differences right side to left. And then when you're ready, do the other side. So just do that at your own pace. Think about keeping your hips level. Other legs is the standing one, so maybe that's your left. And right knee out to the side. Options to stay here. Maybe start to bring your ankle in front of your standing leg shin. And you can bring your arms at any point. So just check in. Where would you like your ankle to be on this side? Where would you like your arms to be on this side? Good. And just come through, and you can come to one of the earlier options at any time. Just checking with how that feels. Good. One more breath here. Really nice. And when you're ready, very slowly, we'll relax. Back out of our posture. Bring your knee forward. Relax your arms. You can give everything a little shake. Okay. Great, so we're going to step our legs a bit wider than hip distance apart, and start by turning your right toes out to the side. So perhaps the right toes turn out to the side by rotating your thigh in the hip socket. Your left toes stay facing forward, shoulders over your hips. Bring your arms open into a T, and your palms are facing down here. And as you exhale, just very slowly start to bend your right knee. Check in with where your knee is tracking. So perhaps make a little adjustments to your heels so your knee kind of tracks towards the center of your foot, like second or third toe. Good. And then stay here. You can make it deeper by stepping your feet wider apart or more shallow, but think about keeping your shoulders over your hips, a little adjustments to find that alignment. And then very slowly through our warrior two, you can bring a rotation to your head. And just stay there for a few breaths. Perhaps you start to imagine that your right knee is lengthening to the side and your left fingertips kind of reach towards the side wall in opposite directions. And just notice how that might affect your chest space. Perhaps it creates more space here. Good, one more breath here. Lovely. Then when you're ready, relax your arms down. You can turn both toes to face forward and perhaps shorten the stance. And we'll do a little circle of our hips. So you might place your hands on your hips and just start to bring your hips over to the right in front of you and the space behind, and then go in the other direction. So circle the other direction and see how that feels, perhaps on your lower back as well as your inner thigh and the outside edge of your hip. Okay, great. So we'll set up for warrior two on the other side. So just do that at your own pace. Rotate from your thigh to turn your left leg out to the side, perhaps stepping your legs wider, and slowly bringing your arms up to that T, palms facing down, and then finding that bend in the left knee. Just notice where your knee's tracking. So how does it feel? Does it feel comfortable? Like it's quite a straight line over the center of your foot. And you can add that rotation of your head at any time. And if you want to make it a bit more kind of strong, you might think about reaching your right fingers to the side wall and your left knee reaches to the opposite wall, away from you. Good. So 2 more breaths here. Just notice if your breath feels relaxed and with ease. Good. Lovely. And then when you're ready, very slowly relax your arms. You can straighten your legs, and we'll turn both toes to face forward again. And you can do that same circling with your hands on your hips. But as an option, you might change your arms so they're kind of a cactus arms with your elbows bent and your palms facing forward. So 3 circles in one direction and 3 circles in the other direction. And just do that at your own pace. Lovely. And when you're ready, we'll come down to the ground through a squat position. So if you step your feet together, you can give everything a little shake. And then turn your toes out to the side, and we'll place our hands in front of our heart and just feel that alignment, shoulders over hips. And you can imagine the breath is rising from your navel up to your heart as you inhale, and as you exhale, relaxing from your heart to your navel. Good. So then the next exhalation, just slowly start to bend your knees, and we'll come down to a squat. Good. So just stop wherever that's comfortable. You might find that your heels lift, and that's fine. Just notice, but think about kind of relaxing your weight downward, like your tailbone is directed downward. So at maximum, you might bring your elbows inside of your knees, but just see where that's comfortable for you. Checking with how that feels on your body, not to bring expectation to where you should be. Just notice where it's comfortable. Good. Lovely. One more breath here. Lovely. And then we'll bring our hands to the mat. I'm just going to face the short edge of my mat, so I'm long, my body's in the same direction as. So if you come to all fours on hands and knees, and just check in with how that feels. So we're going to come to pigeon posture next. So you can start here in all fours. If you want to make it a bit more, with more dynamic tension, you might start in plank pose. Just see which one you prefer. Both options, think about having your wrists on your shoulders and that nice long spine, so you can adjust how close your chin is to your chest to have that length. Okay, so one more breath here. Lovely. Then if you bend your right knee and bring your right knee forward and rest it on the floor behind your right wrist. So just check in so your hips are both facing evenly forward. And you can start to bring your heel underneath your groin. If you want to make this a bit deeper, flex your right foot. And you can start to draw your right toes towards your left wrist. And stop it anywhere in that range. So at maximum, your shin would be parallel to the front of your mat. Option here to find some blankets or cushions or pillows, rest them underneath your right hip. Good. And then you can slowly bring your left knee down, the leg behind you, and relax the top of your foot. If that's uncomfortable, again, you can place little rolled up blankets underneath your ankle or roll up your mat. You can even rotate from your left thigh to turn your knee out to the side, and just see how that feels for your body. Okay, so maybe you'd like to stay here, or very slowly start to think about bringing your upper body, keep it in a long line, and gently bring it forward. And just do that at your own pace. So maybe rest here with your forearms on the ground. Option again to bring any pillows or cushions to rest your head on. You can even rest your chin on your fists, or maybe start to slowly bring your upper body further forward. So just come into this as much as feels comfortable. There's no prize for coming into it deeply. Just come where it feels right for your body. And again, cushions, pillows, fists. And we'll just stay there for a few breaths and let your body start to relax into the posture. So how does it feel? Do your hips feel evenly, so you can make little adjustments to feel comfortable in the posture? But just let the stillness start to spread. So you can start to feel almost like your breath inflates here in your lower back, like there's a balloon that slowly rises. And then as you exhale, you release the breath. Good. So another round of breath here. So no rush. Make it comfortable for yourself in your pigeon pose. Good. And then when you're ready, we'll slowly start to lift our head, walk your hands a bit closer. So when your hands are underneath your shoulders, gently push back to all fours on hands and knees. And here are a few options. You can start to imagine there's a pencil on your tailbone and you're drawing circles on the ceiling with your tailbone in either direction, or you might start with a little rock forwards and backwards, and then start to rock forwards, over to the right to circle, and then behind you and to the left. So just do a little circling and do that in either direction to help relax any tension out of your back. Good. Lovely. So we'll do the other side when you're ready. So from all fours or plank, just see which one you'd like to start in. Good. We'll bend our left knee and just do this at your own pace. The left knee comes to rest behind your left wrist. Left heel comes underneath your groin area, deeper if you want to by flexing your toes and bringing your toes forward towards your right wrist. When that's comfortable, when you find that position, your hips evenly forward, option to place some cushions underneath your left hip. Relax your right knee down, relax the top of your foot, or you can roll up a towel or your mat to rest on your ankle. Option to rotate from your thigh so your knee comes out to the side a bit. And just very slowly start to journey down forward at your own pace. So where would you like to practice this? Is it comfortable here? Fists under your chin, forehead resting on your fists. Maybe all the way towards the floor. So just make adjustments. Does it feel comfortable? Do you feel a bit to one side or the other more? And you can make little adjustments to shifting your hips, turning your knee out to the side. Good. Just see where that's comfortable for you. No pressure to be at a certain place. Just notice where it's comfortable to relax. And maybe start to feel that breath again along your lower back, rising like a balloon, inflating slowly. And exhale, releasing the breath gently. So one more breath here. Lovely. And when you're ready, very slowly start to walk your hands closer to your body. Push up through all fours. We'll come back. See, from that all fours position, same options of circling. Maybe your tailbone's drawing circles, maybe rock forwards and backwards, and maybe start to Feel your whole body rotate side to side, and do that in either direction. Where does it feel comfortable? It creates a little release, perhaps through your sides, your lower back. Good. Then we'll come to sit on our bottom and extend our legs in front of us. Just sit comfortably so your shoulders over hips. You might bend your knees to do this. Connect with your sitting bones. Inhale up, and as you exhale, slowly fold forward. And just come into that as much as feels comfortable. You might flex your feet. You can rest your hands anywhere on your legs or the floor, or your toes. And just check in so your knees bent as much as feels comfortable. Prioritizing that long spine, so you might feel your stomach come towards your thighs. And if you want to come into that deeper, you can lengthen your heels further away from you. Good, so nice flow of your breath here. Just relaxing, almost like your hips tilt back. Good. When you're ready, very slowly start to uncurl your spine. You're welcome to lay down, or you might come to a seated position with your legs crossed. And just wherever you're comfortable laying down, you might place one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart, or have your arms by your side. And just check in with your breath. Can your inhalation rise from your belly past your heart up to that space in your chest, and then exhaling, relaxing like a pathway from your heart down to your navel. And just take another round of breath here. Inhale, feel the breath rising up from belly to rib cage to heart, and as you exhale, relaxing from heart to belly. And just sense the space surrounding you, the space behind you, like you can breathe into your back space. And you're welcome to stay here for a few more moments, just to find a few moments of calm, entering with each breath and relaxing with each exhalation. Good. So perhaps you'll stay in your relaxation and just slowly start to reconnect with your body when it's time to come out. But I'll leave you here now, and thank you for coming to practice yoga with me today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Feel free to check out the other videos that are on the Facebook page or on Essex Sport YouTube page, and you're welcome to send over any messages through Facebook Messenger if you have any.